So are you going to shh? I was going to say, are you going to sit there all the time? I might. I really want to talk about it. I might be thinking.
mind calm, body at ease, breathing quiet, sentiment benevolent. Dharma friends, sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing, we practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here is the after sound of the bell. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Amoga Varachana Mahamudra Mani Padme Jvala Pravartaya
Please stand for the chanting of the three refuges and then their recitation in English. Sim Quimyane Shivam Samse Shemang Chahe Sanju
Shivam Samse Shemam Chale Sanju Ilche Shisim Quinyam Ne Sivan Samse Shemam Chale Sangju Ilche
I go for refuge to the Buddha
I go for refuge to the Buddha
and resolve with all beings
and resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment
and realize the great way.
and realize the great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma
I go for refuge to the Dharma
and resolve with all beings
and resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings
I will penetrate the teachings
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha
I go for refuge to the Sangha
and resolve with all beings
and resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many
I will seek peace and happiness for the many
and transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
and transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
Please return now for a shorter period of meditation, about 5 minutes before our Dharma talk. follow along with these simple stretching exercises. Calling them mindfulness exercises. So we focus with each part, aware of our body, of our breath, and our mind. Just here, just now, just this. Please bring yourself into a position of hapchang, of sincere heart, as you listen to this week's Dhammapada reading this morning by our priest Ma'um.
They who go naked, with matted hair, mud bespattered, who fast and sleep on the ground, and smear their bodies with ashes, and sit in endless meditation, so long as they are not free from doubts, they will not find freedom. But they who live purely and self-assured, in quietness and virtue, who are without harm or hurt or blame, even if they wear fine clothes, so long as they have faith, they are true seekers. A noble horse rarely feels the touch of the whip. Who is there in this world is blameless? Then, like a noble horse, smart under the whip, burn, and be swift.
This morning, walking slow, a squirrel and I stood together, talking. At breakfast, we talked about how to keep the critters from eating our vegetables. Always. How may we allow harmony to prevail in our lives? Well, good morning. I always think how my sister and I greet each other on the phone. She says, "Good morning, Michigan." And I say, "Good morning, Victoria." She lives in Victoria, British Columbia. We talk a couple of times a week. I wish that was the same for you. Maybe, "Good morning, Chicago." "Good morning, Traverse City." "Good morning, Colorado." Good morning, all of you in the 10 directions. I wish you were right here so I could feel you. So we've been doing some really special talks, first from Hayun and then from Kusa, on the hindrances. So two Sundays ago, Hayun presented us with this chart on the 5 hindrances: desire, greed, ill will, avarice, sloth and torpor, which is what Kusa talked about, restlessness and worry, which Hayun talked about. Do you remember? Yeah. And uncertainty and doubt. And so I kind of was left, so you can do the next one, Haju. And I picked desire and greed. But actually, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, except just to say that this defilement is about releasing our attachment to sense objects and the pleasure of them, to our opinions and views, to rituals. And this is about releasing our attachment to these, to the idea of a separate self, pretty solid me. So this attachment hindrance prevents us from seeing clearly, from waking up. I think last week, Kusa gave us a whole list of things that hindrances hinder. So I am going to maybe go in a different direction rather than talking specifically about desire and greed, but to share some stories, share some dharma, and see where we get. And I guess I would, if I was to entitle the talk, it would be, maybe it'll be different by the time I get to the end, but I'm thinking right now is what's the name of the bodhisattva you are? What's the name of the bodhisattva you are? Okay. So I'd like to start us out with Buddha nature. I think there's some pretty jazzy rap songs about we've all got the Buddha nature. So just from Zen Master Chang-go Sunim, a teacher and monk in Korea, has some maybe different words than we're used to about Buddha nature. All beings and everything in the universe share an inherent foundation that has guided us over eons of evolution. Through this foundation, everything is connected. No exceptions. Through it, everything, including material and spiritual realms, work together as one. This inherent foundation, says Zen Master Chongo, gives rise to all things, and all things return to it, and it has the ability to take care of everything we encounter in our daily life. Sometimes this foundation is called Buddha nature, inherent nature, true self, or the one. And here's the thing, because that can all be cerebral. It's hard to work from just the cerebral. You have to understand for yourself, what this Buddha nature really is and how it functions. And that can be done, of course, through our Buddhist practices, our meditation, chanting, prostrations, our first-hand experiences, and sometimes with our study, because study points the way sometimes. But generally the focus of this is to apply attention moment by moment and to sustain attention. So we can apply it, then we have to keep coming back. We have to sustain it. We call it in some sense the great watching. The great watching. That's the theme this semester for our training students. The great watching of our minds. And we could say then to our speech and to our bodies. And if we think in terms of Buddha nature, and we're all connected, then when we learn this great watching, it's deep because there's the great experience of interconnection and the feeling of our own Buddha nature. Okay, so that's a little bit of formal Dharma. This time of year, I was reflecting, and some of you will remember, and some of you not, that usually at this time, until about 5 years ago, but about 25 years before that, we were always having the great green recycling yard sale. And oh my gosh, it took hold of our whole summer to get ready for it. People worked really hard, especially our coordinator, Maitreya. And we cleaned and we fixed and we painted and we sorted and we displayed. And it was a really big event. So at this time, we would be waiting, going through our service and waiting for a crowd to come in at noon. And then tomorrow we would hope everything would be gone. Usually wasn't the case. And so we had to figure out what to do with so much stuff. Of course, we're always still in that place. And it was a wonderful event. We became known for it in Ann Arbor, and it was once named the event of the year by the of September by the Ann Arbor Observer. Still, people call us up and ask us if they can bring an old couch to the large yard sale. So that is gone now, and we wanted to simplify. We wanted to see what would come in its place. And we hope to do more formal practice. Of course, the yard sale was joyful, informal practice, even though it was hard work. So also now at this time of year, usually September 5th, the next semester for our training students starts. And we had a wonderful batch of training students Friday night and Saturday, not only from here in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti, but from Chicago, from Baltimore, from California. Were there any other?
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado? Yeah. Yeah. So it was a wonderful gathering. And I introduced the Great Watching theme to those training students as I am introducing it to you, because as we proceed on the path, what we have to learn the very most is to be watchful of our own minds. It's fascinating when we can really be watchful and see the patterns and work with them. A lot of times it takes a while not to just be dragged around by them, and for them to become us somehow, not knowing that behind all those habitual patterns is that wonderful Buddha nature, just so close. There's a wonderful koan in our tradition around awakening. There was a family, a Chinese family called the family of layman Pang. And they were all really dedicated practitioners and practiced and went to teachers at the time and went to monasteries for stay. They simplified their lives at one time by taking a lot of their things and throwing them out in a lake just to get simple. I do not recommend that actually, but at that time, apparently that's how they simplified. And they had a very small little business together. And they talked Dharma. And so they would sit around, and the question came to them once, what is this awakening? And Layman Pang said, it's difficult, difficult, difficult. Like trying to pick 2 pounds of sesame seeds that have been thrown over the leaves of a tree. And his wife responded, "Easy, easy, easy. It's like simply getting out of bed and putting your foot on the floor." And the daughter said, "Neither difficult nor easy, like in the night reaching back and adjusting your pillow." Just that. The daughter won. But in the process ourselves of learning to focus and to sustain that focus and the great watching, it is difficult, difficult, difficult. And sometimes we think it's easy, easy, easy. But in the end, it is really neither difficult or easy. May you experience that from time to time. Aha. Neither difficult nor easy. What a wonderful place to rest in. All right. Now I like to read and partly tell my favorite story. I usually tell it at New Year's Eve when I go to help with the year-end service at our Toronto temple. And somehow I almost tell it every year because we're always at the brink of something at the end of the year, and we want to go forward in a good way. And I think these days, every day seems to be the brink of something, every week, every month. And we would like to be able to go forward harmoniously. So the story is The Rabbi's Gift. It's about a monastery, a group of people. And please excuse me for not having it memorized, even though I've told it so many times or read it so many times. Here we go. There is a story, perhaps a myth. Typical of mythic stories, it has many versions. Also typical, the source of the version I am about to tell is obscure. I cannot remember whether I heard or read it, or where or when. Furthermore, I do not even know the distortions I myself have made in it. All I know for certain is that this version came to me with a title. It is called The Rabbi's Gift. The story concerns a monastery that has fallen upon hard times. Once a great order, as a result of waves of anti-monastic persecution in the 17th and 18th centuries, and the rise of secularism in the 19th, all of its branch houses were lost, and it had become decimated to the extent that there were only 5 monks left in the decaying mother house. Abbot and 4 others, all over 70 in age. Clearly, it was a dying order. In the deep woods surrounding the monastery, there was a little hut that a rabbi from a nearby town occasionally used for a hermitage. Through their many years of prayer and contemplation, the old monks had become a bit psychic. So they could always sense when the rabbi was in the hermitage. The rabbi is in the woods. The rabbi is in the woods once again, they would whisper to each other. As he agonized over the imminent death of his order, it occurred to the abbot at one such time to visit the hermitage and ask the rabbi if by some possible chance he could offer any advice that might save the monastery. The rabbi welcomed the abbot at his hut, but when the abbot explained the purpose of his visit, the rabbi could only commiserate with him. "I know how it is," he explained. "The spirit has gone out of the people. It is the same in my town. Almost no one comes to the synagogue anymore." So the old abbot and the old rabbi wept together. Then they read parts of the Torah and quietly spoke of deep things. The time came when the abbot had to leave. They embraced each other. "It has been a wonderful thing that we should meet after all these years," the abbot said. "But I have still failed in my purpose for coming here. Is there nothing you can tell me? No piece of advice you can give me that would help me save my dying order?" "No, I am sorry," the rabbi responded. "I have no advice to give. The only thing I can tell you is that the Messiah is one of you." When the abbot returned to the monastery, his fellow monks gathered around him to ask, "Well, what did the rabbi say?" He couldn't help. The abbot answered, "We just wept and read the Torah together. The only thing he did say, just as I was leaving, it was something cryptic, was that the Messiah is one of us. I don't know what he meant." In the days and weeks and months that followed, the old monks pondered this and wondered whether there was any possible significance to the rabbi's words. The Messiah is one of us? Could he possibly have meant one of us monks at the monastery? If that's the case, which one? Do you suppose he meant the abbot? Yes, if he meant anyone, he probably meant Father Abbot. He has been our leader for more than a generation. On the other hand, he might have meant Brother Thomas. Certainly, Brother Thomas is a holy man. Everyone knows that Thomas is a man of light. Certainly, he could not have meant Brother Elred. Elred gets crotchety at times. But come to think of it, even though he's a thorn in people's sides, when you look back on it, Elred is virtually always right. Often very right. Maybe the rabbi did mean Brother Elred, but surely not Brother Philip. Philip is so passive, a real nobody. But then, almost mysteriously, he has a gift for somehow always being there when you need him. He just magically appears by your side. Maybe Philip is the Messiah. Of course, the rabbi didn't mean me. He couldn't possibly have meant me. I'm just an ordinary person. Yet supposing he did. Suppose I am the Messiah. Oh God, not me. I couldn't be that much for you. Could I? As they contemplated in this manner, the old monks began to treat each other with extraordinary respect. On the off chance that one of them, among them, might be the Messiah. And on the off chance that each monk himself might be the Messiah, they began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. They began to treat themselves with extraordinary respect. Because the forest in which it was situated was beautiful, it so happened that people still occasionally came to visit the monastery, to picnic on its tiny lawn, to wander along some of its paths, even now and then to go into the dilapidated chapel to meditate. As they did so, without even being conscious of it, they sensed this aura of extraordinary respect that now began to surround the 5 old monks and seemed to radiate out from them and permeate the atmosphere of the place. There was something strangely attractive, even compelling about it. Hardly knowing why, they began to come back to the monastery more frequently to picnic, to play, to pray. They began to bring their friends to show them this special place. And their friends brought their friends. Then it happened that some of the younger ones who came to visit the monastery started to talk more and more with the old monks. After a while, one asked if he could join them, then another, and another. So within a few years, the monastery once again became a thriving order, and thanks to the rabbi's gift, a vibrant center of light and spirituality in the realm. That's one of my favorite stories. And every time I tell it, it becomes more so. It really touches me. Never done much commentary on it, but just to say, there was concern for the decline, for the problem that was there. There was investigation. The abbot went to visit with the rabbi. And then came back the abbot's report to the community. And then the community's reflection. The Messiah is one of us, the Messiah is one of us. And that's what they practiced with. And as that practice went, I felt their humility. Their reflection and greater, clearer seeing. First, Philip was passive, and then they could see. He was almost always there when needed, etc. So they were practicing with that. The Messiah is one of us. And there rose great respect. And I think humility. And it really showed. Really showed. So gradually, and it was gradually, things got taken care of. So I could see that the Messiah is one of us. If we translated that for us, I've got the Buddha nature? It's a question. We've all got the Buddha nature? If we keep watching and all of that, but it is work and discipline. And in our tradition, I'd like to, I've been looking at the Lotus Sutra lately. And do you know there's a kind of a famous bodhisattva in the Lotus Sutra? And this bodhisattva's name is Bodhisattva Never Disparaging. Have you heard of that bodhisattva before? Maybe you have. And he's, I'm just looking back at Forster, Hayun and Maum because they are the ones right with me. Maum has heard Bodhisattva disparaging, never disparaging, and Hayun hasn't. Okay, so what this was, it was apparently Bodhisattva never disparaging was one Buddha in one of his lives before he became the Buddha. And never disparaging went around and he would say he was always encouraging everyone else. He was always hopeful. He was always positive. He was always helpful. And he was so much so with almost every single person that some people found even despicable, that people got a kind of like, what do you mean by this? Never disparaging. But in fact, as a result of that never disparaging, the lives of the people around that bodhisattva became more harmonious. Yeah. So I love that never disparaging kind of name for a bodhisattva. We've got in our tradition a bodhisattva of great compassion and great vow and great wisdom and great deeds. And the bodhisattva of great deeds is the bodhisattva Samantabhadra. And there are some vows of Samantabhadra which I would like to share with thee, because it has the spirit of never disparaging. It has the spirit of over and over again, let's work on this. Let me reflect. Let me bring great watching to a situation. So here it is. Let's see. So just so that these words can penetrate you deeply, please just bring your spine a little straighter. Pay attention to your breath in your nose, in your chest. And open your ears. So here's the vows of Samantabhadra, Bodhisattva of great deeds. I will honor all Buddhas and never grow tired of it. Number 2, I will praise all Tathagatas and never grow tired of it. I will make offerings to all Buddhas and never grow tired of it. I will confess all my transgressions of the Dharma and never grow tired of it. I will rejoice in the virtues and happiness of all beings and never grow tired of it. I will request Buddhas to teach the Dharma and never grow tired of it. I will request Buddhas to dwell in the world and never grow tired of it. I will follow the Dharma and never grow tired of it. I will always benefit all beings and never grow tired of it. I will dedicate my own merits to the happiness and welfare of all beings and never grow tired of it. So reflect, dear ones. Yes, you. What is it that you'd like to do over and over again and never grow tired of it? Not just one act of kindness, but that you would keep it going. So you would maybe be the Bodhisattva of unrelenting kindness or courage, or so that over and over again. And maybe your Buddhist name, if you have one, could be that, the Bodhisattva of Ma'um, the Bodhisattva of Hayun, the Bodhisattva of Haju. And never growing tired of it. Difficult, difficult, difficult. Easy, easy, easy. Neither difficult nor easy. Okay, so I guess are you doing Mom's doing, Mom's doing the announcements this morning, everyone. And when she's finished with the announcements, we'll do together our 4 great vows. And I have one announcement to add.
So, good morning, all you Buddhas, all you Messiahs. We invite you to come and practice with us and to help build our community. Almost every morning in the week, we have outdoor practice in Burns Park at 6:15 a.m. So please come and join us Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Sunday. Any of those days will be in the park at 6:15. On Wednesdays, we have a member sitting. We open up the doors on the porch of our new Sangha house and invite you to come and sit with us beginning at 6:30 p.m. And we have work practice days. Our next big work practice, I think, is September 20th. Is that right? Look in the we will let you know. But generally, come and do a little outdoor work with us every Saturday from 9 to noon. Immediately after this service, there is a tea time hosted by Krisa, our Dharma teacher in Colorado, and Thompson, our senior Maitreya Buddhist Seminary student here in Ann Arbor. Upcoming, we have something very special. We have a practice period. For those of you who remember participating in this, it's an opportunity to get together with fellow practitioners to make commitment to your daily practice, to deepen your daily practice, and also to discuss an area of study. So our upcoming practice will be virtual by Zoom, and it will go for 8 weeks beginning September 20th at 11:45 a.m. on Sundays. The topic is the Four Noble Truths, and that will be led by Dharma Guardians Maju and Popi. So we really hope that you can join us for that. We want to, and meditation classes are starting this coming week. There's a meditation class that begins on Thursday, and we'll meet for 4 Thursdays. And because we have a lot of interest, we're also adding a Tuesday class, a different class, and that Tuesday class will begin on September 15th. Hours of the class are 7 p.m. Eastern Time through 8:30 p.m. Okay. Finally, we continue to be grateful for your support and engagement with the temple. And we wish that you were all here someday soon. Perhaps you will be. So giving you a big hug and then passing it back to Haji Sunu for the 4 great vows and her announcement.
Thanks, Ma'um and Otso Hayan. These two have been handling all our technology this morning, and I hope it's just come through well. The announcement I wanted to make, that is on September 20th, the Sunday of this service, the Dharma talk, or the talk, is going to be given by Dr. Lu. He usually gives a talk every year at the temple in the springtime, but because COVID was upon us, then he was not able to come, but he's going to come not next Sunday, but the next. And I'd like to ask you to prepare your questions, even send them beforehand so we can sort through them. And of course, we'll be able to have them at the time, because he does really well when he has questions that you have. And it can be on any aspect of health, even of COVID, of just healthy lifestyle. He is, I would say, a really world-known expert, and he has actually been working with other COVID scientists and doctors who are trying to understand the COVID and also to find remedies and ways to deal with it. So I want you to please put it on your calendar. It's always been, over the last 5 years we've had him come, it's always been really meaningful to the Sangha. So I think that is it. Let's finish then with the 4 great vows. Please repeat after me. And this resonates with the spirit of, we've all got the Dharma nature. We are all connected. These are called the Bodhisattva vows. So whatever your Bodhisattva name is, whatever our Bodhisattva names are, these are our vows. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions,
Blind passions,
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates,
Dharma gates,
one mind,
one mind,
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha,
The great way of Buddha,
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.
Please have a safe day and enjoy this longer weekend wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Also, please keep safe. Bye.